I get a job teaching 4th and 5th grade at Montague Elementary, and I spend about 3 weeks getting my classroom ready because I'm going to be the world's greatest teacher. And the first day of teaching, in the middle of the morning, my principal walks into my room and says, "Mr. Lambert." I said, "Yes." She said, "Welcome to Montague Street School. By the way, I'm looking at your bulletin boards. Do you realize you have red paper on your bulletin boards?" And I said, "Yes." She said, "Do you know red paper is a warm color?" I said, "Yes." She said, "And warm excites kids?" I said, "Isn't that what we're supposed to do?" She said, "Not at Montague Street." So I spent the next 4 or 5 days and put in brown paper, and she came back at the end of the week and she had a ruler in her hand. And she said, "Mr. Lambert," she said, "do you know that the tag board and the construction paper, there's a 1/2 inch border?" And I said, "Yes, that's 1/2 inch." She said, "Not at Montague, we use a 1/4 inch." So I took it down and I made it a 1/4 inch. A week later, I got a notice that all the upper grade teachers were having a meeting with the upper grade supervisor on bulletin boards. And so we all had a meeting, and it lasted about an hour and a half after school, and somewhere in that meeting I raised my hand and said to the supervisor, I said, I said, "If I do all the things that you tell me to do," I said, "when do I have time to grade papers, prepare lessons, work with kids, and do all of those other things?" That got me a see me after school notice from the principal. So I saw her after school the next day, and she said, "Mr. Lambert, we don't ask embarrassing questions to supervisors like that. And by the way," she said, "do you belong to an organization?" And I said, "What's an organization?" She said, "Well, we have some organizations and you should join one." And there was one called ATOLA, the Affiliated Teachers. She said, "You should join the Probationary and Substitute Teacher Organization." So I go about my business, and 2 months later I get a call from one of the board members of PSTO, a woman by the name of Dorothy Mealy. She says, "This Bill Lambert?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "You know you're on the board of directors of PSTO?" I said, "Yeah, I got a letter. It says I'm on the board." She said, "You know you're supposed to come to meetings." I said, "You have meetings?" She said, "Yeah." She said, "Would you come and lead the flag salute?" I said, "That's good. I know the flag salute." So I went to the meeting, and I did a good job on the flag salute. And a year later, I was president of PSTO. And then the Affiliated Teachers, which was a big organization, they were electing their board of directors too. And so as the president of PSTO, I went to the meeting. The guy sitting behind me, and he tapped me on the back, and he said, "Lambert, is that you?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "You want to be vice president of ATOLA?" I said, "Why not?" He stood up and he said, "I nominate Bill Lambert, vice president of ATOLA." And everybody looked around and said, "Who is he?" So I stood up and I sat down after a while, and after the caucuses were over, I was also vice president of ATOLA.